on like GBA baby, on like Sosa Danny. You know how we rockin' Danny? Fake Dennis, a Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. A snitch Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. Nah, a Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. Nah, a sneak Dennis, that's the Dan I don't like. Don't like. Snitch Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. Nah, don't like. A Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. Pop Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. Dan, that's a Dan White. We smoke Dan all day, all night. We smoke Reggie, that's the Dan I don't like. Got a Dan and pull up on your Dan, bet she gone like. Sosa Dan, yeah, I done gone hype. Pistol toting and I'm shooting on sight. Snitch Dan, that's the Dan I don't like. Your Dan wanna go on a team, bet she won't fight. Dan you don't like, we ain't gonna fight. Our gun's gonna fight. Dan, that's the Dan I don't like.